Step 8 is entering hazards. This is the most important register in your system, as the whole concept of providing a safe workplace, which is the company's responsibility, revolves around this step. Identifying hazards will help reduce the likelihood of an injury. The reason why this is step 8 is firstly, we need to get the basic data into your system, as the previous data entered is where we will identify your company's hazards and risks. So what is a hazard? A hazard is a situation in the workplace that has the potential to harm the health and safety of people or damage plant and equipment. The situation could involve a task, a chemical, or equipment used. Hazard management is a continual process that can be used to improve the health and safety of all workplaces. So how do we identify hazards? Well, the reason why hazards is step 8, because we needed to get all the previous information into the system first. So start looking at your sites and locations that you entered in step 1, and the activities you entered in step 2, the plant and equipment items you entered in step 6, and the chemicals you entered in step 7. From these 4 areas, you should be able to identify hazards and risks to your employees and contractors and volunteers. Then you need to assess them and develop control measures to reduce the likelihood of an injury. So, let's enter a hazard. The hazard register can be found in the risk management section, and it uses the color combination. Red means that a hazard has just been logged. Orange means that it's been assessed, and green means that a control measure has actually been developed. You can set up email alerts to automatically alert you that a hazard's been logged via the alert register. Make sure to set that alert at 0, but we'll do that in step 16. So let's add a hazard. Logging a hazard can either be logging into the system and selecting the Add New Hazard button, or you can actually print out a QR code, relate it to your sites, make it public, signature box. If it's something the general public can actually use, don't select Show Employees on the form, because it will actually have a box there where they can write their name anyway. But if it's only your employees using this, yes, you would actually select that box there so they can select a name from a drop-down list. Print. So we've made that public, so if you scan that QR code, it'll bring up the hazard form on your mobile device, and you don't even have to enter a username and password. But let's add a hazard here. You can relate a hazard to a site, and you can relate it to an activity. That's why it's important to make sure that all your activities are in the system previously. And the same thing with plant items, because this is also going to develop a hazard report, and it's going to highlight what activities and what plant and equipment items have the most risk. You can enter a free text hazard. Try to educate your employees to keep it small and simple. This box here is actually a description of the hazard in more detail. Reported date, make sure that your employees use the calendar. Reported by, and if they do know the assessment due date, they can actually use the calendar to do so, but it's a non-mandatory field. They can even upload an image of that hazard if they wanted to, and more than one image if they want. Submit. They would email alert the person and put it into the register as read, where there you can actually select the assessment button and assess the risk of the hazard. You've got hazard types, but you actually make your own list. You can select the risk matrix. That's the preloaded risk matrix, but you can actually upload your own risk matrix via this section here and upload your own graphic, but you won't be able to select on it and put it into the register like that, because it is a graphic. We are bringing a feature in where you'll be able to build your own matrix. This box here is why did you actually score that item a 2? So in this box here, you would actually go, likelihood was this, severity was this, and this is why it's rated a 2. Assess date, assess by, You can actually make a person responsible for the control measures if you wish. It'll put it into their to-do list, submit. It'll go orange inside the system, where you can actually go down the hierarchy of controls. You can actually add your own PPE items here if you wish. Control measure developed on, review date for continual improvement, and then you can actually set actions, and as many actions as you wish. It'll email alert that person, put it in their to-do list, put it into the action register, and you can set email alerts to alert you that that action hasn't been completed via the alert register. It's a good idea when you're doing everything is to use the helper, because it'll take you step by step through this process. I hope that educates you on the hazard register and how important it is for you to actually identify hazards in your workplace to reduce the likelihood of an injury occurring. It is a good idea to actually enter hazards that you've already identified, assessed, and developed control measures for, just to show a history of you trying to provide a safe workplace. Now select Next for the helper to take you step by step through the process.